Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video in Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we should be getting the reveal of the next legendary hero set to launch somewhere around Christmas on the 25th, I believe. Let's get this show on the road and watch it together for the very first time. I am not looking at the title of the video that is splayed at the top of the screen. I am deliberately looking away so we can be surprised together at who is going to be revealed. Again, I don't know where Leaf is. Leaf is kind of AWOL. I guess it could potentially be him, although, you know, we have Thrasier, who was a mythic. So it would be kind of surprising to have Leaf as a legendary. And then, of course, there was the whole Xenologue showing that it's not the last that we've seen of Leaf and Thrasier. So, I mean, we could really see them at any point in the future, so it may not be them. It could be completely unrelated. So we'll just have to find out together. Let's go ahead and hit play on the video. Alright, so let's take a look. A new legendary hero joins the battle. Queen of Valentia. Oh, really? Celica? Oh, she looks great. She's got that, wow, okay, wait, hold on. I didn't even see what her weapon type was. It looks like she's a green tome, so infantry green tome. With Seraphim, which is very fitting. Alright. And then she pairs up with Alm here. I like her animation. Pretty nice, pretty nice. These heroes also appear during this event. Vanguard Ike, as well as Grima, Creed, Air, Roy, okay, Naga, Edelgard, okay, Dimitri, Claude, so it's going to be very three houses representation, high three houses representation. Okay, Peony is also going to be on it, interesting. Alright, an 8% banner, of course, makes sense. So yes, definitely set to start on Christmas Eve, or the night of Christmas Eve, I should say, so into Christmas. Alright, well that kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting Celica this go-around, but I also am not surprised to see Celica as a legendary hero. You know, considering that Alm got the legendary hero treatment, it was pretty natural for Celica to get it as well, eventually, at some point. So I'm certainly not surprised to see her get a legendary version at all. The art for Celica here looks pretty darn good. I want to take definitely a closer look at the art, her skills, as well as the other units on the banner to determine whether or not this is something that's going to be worth pulling for myself or for any of you out there that are watching. So let's go ahead and rewind, play back the tapes, go back and take a look at the trailer again and pause throughout just so we can properly evaluate legendary Celica, Queen of Valentia. Alright, here we go. This new format for the trailers kind of throws me off a little bit. I don't know what it is about them. Alright, so Queen of Valentia. I love her armor design here. It's pretty great. She does look pretty radiant here, I have to say. She is going to be a fire legendary hero. She is an infantry unit and a green tome user. Erica Lindbeck is going to be reprising her role as Celica, and I actually like this armor design a lot. I don't know if this is based on some concept art or maybe art that I just didn't see in the game in Shadows of Valentia, but it looks pretty amazing here. She's kind of blinged out. She's got the shine on the armor. She's got the flowing cape. She's got the fur and the crown. She looks really good here overall. She's got the, you know, the asymmetrical skew on the skirt, showing a little thigh. But yeah, I mean, I think overall her design looks really good. I think the art is a great rendition of her, so I'm actually pretty impressed. They've definitely created a stark variety here from her prior iterations in the game itself. Very, very distinctive look. And of course, for those of you who are collecting Celicas, you now have a full Celica emblem, certainly a little skewed on the red side of things. All of the other Celicas, I believe, are infantry, which means that they can take advantage of different infantry-based buffs, like special spirals, like infantry pulses, like things like that. So something to bear in mind as fans of Celica out there may be tempted to create something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep playing, watch her attacks as well as her skills. Alright, so let's pause here. So Saintly Seraphim is a 14 might green tome, grants speed +3. If unit initiates combat, deals damage equal to 25% of foes' res. Ignores reductions to res from special skills. Alright, so what that means is that basically, as long as she initiates combat, that is the only condition for this effect. As long as she is attacking into an enemy, she basically gets a mini Luna. So Luna, of course, being the special that reduces the enemy's defensive stats by 30%, Saintly Seraphim just gives her that by default, a 25%, granted not a full 30%, but it's 25%, and it's of the opponent's res, which is the only thing that matters since obviously she's a magic user. So again, it essentially gives her a free mini Luna whenever she initiates on somebody, and of course it ignores reductions to res from special attacks. So if you have Luna, for example, as her special, or Moonbow as her special, even if those skills proc, which effectively reduce the enemy's res, the 25% will, or the condition or the effect of Saintly Seraphim will ignore that aspect of it. So obviously this is pegging her as an offensive-oriented mage, a player phase mage. The effect only takes place if she is initiated on somebody, so it's on offense. It's a pretty powerful effect, I gotta say. You know, it's not the giant paragraph effects that we see commonly on weapons nowadays, but it's certainly very powerful. I mean, tacking on that damage, and again, you have to think about it, it's every single attack. So when she doubles, she's basically getting, 25% again, and again, another 25% after that. That's strong. I mean, that is very strong. There's no doubt about that. Now, it is just raw damage. It doesn't have another set of different utility that we kind of have grown accustomed to a little bit with these units that come out. So I do see that she has her own unique B slot, so we'll get into that a little bit later, but that might be where the utility comes into play. But Saintly Seraphim is going to be her own unique tome, and it's definitely going to be a powerful weapon. It's definitely going to allow her to do a lot of damage right up front with easy conditions to meet. Miracle for the special is a pretty interesting choice. If unit's HP is greater than 1 and foe would reduce unit's HP to 0, unit survives with 1 HP. So they'll be able to take one attack that would have normally killed them and survive with 1 HP. So that is the effect of Miracle. Swift Sparrow 3 for the A slot. If unit initiates combat, grants attacks +6 and speed +7 during combat. Tier 4 Swift Sparrow, again, solidifying her as an offensive mage. You can't get much better than Swift Sparrow 3 in terms of just boosting your offensive capabilities overall as an aggregate against an enemy upon initiation. Soul of Zofia as her B slot. Okay, neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks or prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. If unit's HP is greater than, or less than or equal to 75%, and unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before the foe can counterattack. Really? Okay, so this is basically Desperation on steroids, which again, an offensive mage, they're going to want to use Desperation. I mean, Desperation is a skill that's been in the game since day one, has been slapped on Blade Tome mages since day one, and quite frankly, it's still an incredibly, incredibly useful skill. And Soul of Zofia is just an expansion of that, made even better. So yeah, it basically has built-in Desperation, and then in addition to that, it also neutralizes any follow-up attack skills or preventing follow-up attack skills. So follow-up attack skills such as Quick Riposte, such as Vengeful Fighter, such as Bold Fighter, neutralizes the automated attacks. Ephraim's weapons all create, guarantee follow-up attacks. This is something that neutralizes that. Now, perhaps more importantly, it neutralizes skills that prevent follow-up attacks. So we're talking about Wary Fighter here, or Myrrh, for example, her weapon effect that prevents you from following up and doing a double. Soul of Zofia neutralizes that, and she's going to have inherently high speed anyway, so it's going to neutralize that. It's going to fall to the speed check to see whether or not she doubles. She has the +3 speed from Saintly Seraphim. She has the Swift Sparrow 3 boost itself, so she's probably going to be a speedy mage to begin with. And again, Soul of Zofia just neutralizes the ability to prevent her from doubling, which is actually amazing. So let's just move on real quick to the C slot skill. Attack speed 03. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit for 1 turn. So again, all of her boosts going into attack and speed, really crystallizing her as an offensive mage. She's going to have attack and speed up to wazoo. She's going to be attacking, doubling, not being able to be prevented from doubling, and that she's going to double in succession when she's in desperation range, which is all things that you want out of a player phase mage. So if you kind of think about it, she's almost boiled down the concept of a player phase offensive mage down to its roots. She's gotten rid of all of the gimmicks, all of the Ophelia special spirals, all of the triple brazens, all of that, all the blade tomes, all that stuff, those quirky things that you can do. No, she's just raw damage, raw attack, raw speed, doubling, neutralizing the ability to prevent doubles on the opponent, and then doubling with impunity when she's in desperation range while stacking all of that attack and speed. I mean, that is basically her goal. And as a niche, that's pretty perfect. I mean, that's what she's intended to do, and she's going to do it very, very well, it feels. I mean, I will say that one very nice thing about this is that it's self-sufficient. Celica, Queen of Valentia, as an offensive mage, doesn't really need the amount of support that any of the, or team compositions that a lot of these, these other types of mages would need in order to properly, set up what they need to do. So not a lot of frills. Again, boiled down to the bare bones of what an offensive mage is. So the question is, if that's actually better than any of these other, different builds that have been established and developed over time. Something that I certainly will say is that Legendary Celica has the advantage of being a little bit more independent. She's not relying on infantry pulses or having other mages on the team in order to reduce cooldown or, getting in brazen range. I mean, she doesn't need any of those things. Like, right out of the gate, she's going to be very, very powerful, and as soon as she takes some damage, we'll have to see what her defensive stats are going to be. She's going to be difficult to double, because again, Soul of Zofia prevents skills that force a double. So because of that, she has very high speed innately, probably. We don't know what her skills are just yet, but I'm assuming she has a pretty high speed, considering that they're stacking all of these speed buffs on her. She has speed +3 from Saintly Seraphim, so I'm assuming she natively has high speed, which makes her inherently hard to double. But if you have somebody like, with a bold fighter or something like that, they would double, right? But Soul of Zofia prevents that. So we'll have to see what her stat line is, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's hard to one-shot, basically. If she's hard to one-shot, she's going to be basically impossible to double in a lot of ways if she has high enough speed. And that's going to make it extremely, extremely easy for her to get in desperation range, which is going to make her even more deadly. Now, of course, Miracle is a throwaway special. I don't know why you would have Miracle on her. I mean, Miracle prevents her from getting one-shot, right? But it's a 5 cooldown special. Nobody's going to keep that on her. So people are probably going to replace that right quick, I suspect, with Luna or Moonbow or Glimmer. And Luna or Moonbow definitely doubles up on the whole effect of Saintly Seraphim, so that's definitely a nice choice. But I could definitely see them going with, even depending on what her attack stat is, Draconic Aura might be a nice choice as well, depending on what her res is. I mean, even something like Iceberg could be something that is worth using. Now, one thing I am curious about, Saintly Seraphim's effect, how does that interact with AoE specials? I suspect it doesn't influence them at all, because I think the AoE special is its own thing, like completely separate. It's not even like an attack. It doesn't take into account the effects necessarily of Saintly Seraphim, I wouldn't think. But I don't know that for certain. But if it does take into effect, that deals damage by 25% of the foe's res, and then basically enhances that or 1.5 times that for the effects of the AoE, that's even more disruptive and definitely deadly. Now, Celica definitely seems like a very, very powerful offensive player phase mage. Of that, I really have no doubt. She's going to wreak havoc on the battlefield when she's on the battlefield. I think the ultimate question is, what does she bring to the table outside of that? And the answer is really not a whole heck of a lot. I think if you already have a really powerful infantry green mage, of which there's a wide array of characters that you could choose from, I don't know if Celica is a must-have. I mean, I know she isn't a must-have. Of course, Celica, I mean, she looks great. I think her skill set is really awesome. I think it's powerful. But again, it's not as though we're short on offensive mages. I mean, we have offensive mages of all varieties and all colors, and even green offensive mages, we have options out there. So if you have already a green mage that you use and are dedicated to, I don't see really that much of a reason to pull for Celica unless you love Celica, which is valid enough of a reason to pull for her, absolutely, don't get me wrong. But I'm just thinking in terms of her skill set now. Like I said, boiled down, offensive player phase mage, we have so many of those, and if you have one that already kind of suits your needs, then you may not need to necessarily go this route and go for her. But let's keep going. But regardless, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and take a look at her animation and everything. I really do like it. The attack effect is cool. There's no denying that, and her attacking art as well. I really like it. It almost gives me kind of like a Roman armor vibe to it. I don't know. I really do like it a lot. Alright, so let's take another look at these heroes that are going to be joining her. So, yeah, Ike, Grima, Freed, Air, Roy. So it's like all legendary and mythic heroes plus 3 houses characters. Is that it? Is that really how it is? Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It's all mythics and legendaries. This is kind of you know, I gotta say, it's a little bit of a landmark moment. I think this may be the most legendary and mythic heroes we've had on a banner. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm just used to seeing more seasonals on these banners. But yeah, I mean, we only have the three houses units, the three houses, you know, the three houses leaders, and then we have just an assortment of legendary and mythic heroes. So yeah, and I guess that makes sense because they did just release that giant seasonal batch banner just you know, a week or so ago. So I guess, you know, that was their because they knew people would be a little angry to not see seasonals available on a legendary hero banner. They probably released that ahead of time so people could you know, spend their orbs to get their seasonals that they missed on that banner and not feel like they missed the opportunity when this legendary hero banner came around. But yeah, this thing is stacked with legendary and mythic heroes all over the place. Let's evaluate each of the colors independently to see kind of where they stack as far as, or rank as far as kind of pullability, so to speak. All right, so let's start with green, since Celica is green, and she's going to be the debut unit. Like I said, Celica looks absolutely amazing as a player phase mage. Again, I question the need. People probably have player phase mages built up at this point that they don't absolutely need Celica. As awesome as she looks, she's more of a luxury than anything else. So there's Celica, there's Thrasier, who is another offensive green mage. So I mean, again, just take that into consideration. And then Edelgard. So we've got three lovely ladies on the green side of things, all pretty good picks. I mean, really powerful mages, and Edelgard is so tanky. A pretty darn good unit in and of herself. So green has some stuff going for it, I gotta say. And of course, Celica being the debut unit, I know a lot of people are going to be pulling for her. Let's take a look at colorless. So we have Air, who is always a good pick, Claude as well, and then Grima. So everybody has Air. Getting additional Airs is always great for the light season, just so that it makes it easier to maintain or advance in ether raids. Claude is actually a really powerful archer cavalry unit. He has a lot going for a lot of just very unique effects that makes him very effective against most enemy types. So Claude's definitely powerful. And then Grima, and then we have Grima. I mean, Grima's been around for a really long time. She is actually extremely powerful at high merges. So if you know, for the diehards out there that want a plus 10er, she's definitely worth plus 10ing, because at plus 10 she's very formidable. But aside from that, she's not exceedingly powerful outside of those merges. And again, Air is a unit that everybody has for free, so I have to kind of bump colorless down, at least when in comparison to green overall. Even though Claude is fantastic, I gotta say that I think green overall has more to offer. If we take a look at blue, so blue has Dimitri as well as Naga and Peony. So Peony was just on a banner where you could have pulled for her, and we also all got Peony for free, and she has incredible utility by herself without merges. So unless you really need another Peony, you know, I don't know if you necessarily need to be going for another copy at this juncture. Dimitri is great. I mean, Dimitri is such an overwhelmingly powerful Lance Cavalry unit, but there are so many Lance Cavalry units out there. Again, that's like one of the downfalls. Whenever they release a new Lance Cavalry unit, it's like, oh, this is really powerful, but there's just really stiff competition as far as that's concerned. And then we have Naga here, and Naga has very unique utility in being able to grant the buff of a dragon effectiveness, which honestly I think is still pretty good. I know a lot of people hate on Naga because she doesn't necessarily fulfill, I think, the role that they thought that she would, but I think that Naga's pretty decent. Honestly, I would put colorless and blue at probably around the same level. Blue maybe even a little bit higher, only because Peony is a dancer, so getting additional dancers is now, even if you got a dupe Peony, you could use two of them on an Ether Raids team and have two dancers, which is just really powerful and pretty cheap as a whole. So I think they're kind of on the same frequency, same level. Blue might edge out colorless just a little bit. And then if we look at red, we've got Roy, we've got Freed, and we've got Vanguard Ike. So it's important to know that all of the colors except for green have a unit that we were given for free. But I've got to say, in terms of overall usefulness, I might rank red the lowest here, because I honestly, I don't think everybody has Ike at this point. Roy is great in certain instances, and Freed is awesome too, but in certain team compositions. So again, I feel like red is a little bit more niche in terms of its usefulness or utility, and Vanguard Ike everybody already has. So if I had to rank the colors, I guess I would actually put green at the top. When I was going over the green options, I was a little bit middling in terms of its offerings, but at the same time, it's still, personally, I think better overall than the other colors right now. So I think green is on top. I would probably put blue after that, and then colorless almost at the same level, and then red just slightly below that. That's kind of how I would rank the colors personally. Of course, it all is going to depend on what your barracks has, what units you have, who you're missing, and what archetypes you're missing within your actual barracks and teams. So certainly, just use that as a guide more than anything else, because for some of you out there, red is going to be the color that you need most, and that's perfectly fine. For me personally, I'm not going to go in hard on this banner. I think that I'm probably just going to be pulling on the greens in the first circle, the free circle that we get. And, if I manage to get one of them, great. I don't have any of the green units, actually, so, and I would love to get any of them, so getting one of them for free or at a discount would be phenomenal. But I'm not going to hold my breath. We'll just have to kind of see how that goes out. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited for Legendary Hero Celica, if you're excited for this banner, who you're going to be pulling for, what colors you're going to be pulling for, how many orbs you're going to dedicate to this banner. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. Really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.